I wanted to do the... Thank you for the follow, Hojunu. Welcome to the UFO. I hope you enjoy your stay. Thank you for joining. Hello. Hi, Solar Break. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I hope you're having a nice day today. Hello. Yes, pop. Are people ready for Higurashi? I know I've been putting it off, but I finally made it to level 16 in Genshin, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I hear that's when, like, at level rank 18, it pops off. So I'm like, okay, cool. Also, I have no idea what color to put for chat, because no color is still going to be the same. So I'm sorry, but I hope everyone enjoys my voice. So thank you for being here, and let's get started. What chapter are we on? Let's find out, because I literally forgot. Oh, we're only on chapter 7? I thought we were on like chapter 9 or something. What the heck? Okay, we're on chapter 8. So what's gonna happen because the last time we left off, Mion was mad that we hung out with Shion. She's like, I'm like, okay, then never mind. Oh, birds. That's cool. I like birds. I let out a great big yawn. It was like morning had arrived just as I got to sleep. As Mom set up breakfast, she gave me a pained smile. What's the matter, Kichi? What time did you go to sleep last night? Well, I wanted to go to sleep at midnight, but I had some trouble with that. You were probably all worked up from the festival. No, that's not it. Crunch, crunch. I crunched down hard on the pickled radish to hide. Pickled radish. Good stuff. After all that happened yesterday and our discussion about the sound Shion heard, that banging noise, like a child far away jumping up and down on a wooden floor, the story wouldn't get out of my head, so I had trouble sleeping. It was a long night, and I kept jumping at the slight sounds of faraway tree branches, which should have been either unhearable or too insignificant to notice. When I woke up to the morning sunlight and birds chirping, it made me feel pretty ashamed about it, but I felt far from refreshed this morning. What a mood.
Ketchy-kun, good morning! Huh? Ketchy-kun, your eyes are all red. Why is that? Why?
Oh, hey, good morning. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm sleep deprived today. What a yawn. I'm sorry, that was a terrible yawn. I'll do better next time.
The festival yesterday was a lot of fun. Rina's excitement took a long time to go to sleep, so I took a long time to go to sleep too. To sleep.
In Rina's case, her excitement seemed to still be wide awake.
They should have this kind of festival more often, so we can have lots of fun together again. How?
Yeah. Rina talking about the festival yesterday made me remember everything I had nearly forgotten from last night. Oh man, Rina, bad timing. What the heck? The inside of the ritual storehouse had been so utterly different from the relaxed, bright, everyday life of Hinamizawa. All those stories that Takano-san told me, too. The mysterious incidents that occurred on the day of the Wananagashi festival every year. The strange incidents where one person would die and one would disappear. The old stories of Hinamizawa flickering like a candle behind them. The numerous and horrifying traditions of Onigafuchi village. The villagers with demon blood in them. The terrible, cannibalistic feasts. The poor sacrifices kidnapped from human villages, victims of the Oni Kakushi. To quell the rage of the Oyashiro-sama, the ritual involving living sacrifices. There were also many, many others. There were so many stories that just remembering them put me in a foul mood. Most of them weren't fiction either. They were true. We didn't need to fear them just because they were real, though. Since it all happened so long ago, such a very long time ago.
Where's Mi-chan? She's late.
Huh? Before I realized it, we had arrived at the place where we'd usually meet with Mian. Probably because I was so lost in thought.
We agreed that if she isn't here by now, we can just go on ahead, right? Should we?
Mian being late wasn't too rare of an occurrence, but today she was unusually late. A few of the ominous tales from the night before came back to life in my mind again. Who would die this year, and who would disappear? It couldn't have been Mian, no way!
What should we do, Kichi-kun? If we don't get going, we'll be late.
She'll be here. She didn't call to tell us she'd be staying home today, right? Let's just wait 5 more minutes, okay? Rina looked at her watch and seemed a little worried, but then she nodded with a satisfied smile. If we had to wait 5 minutes, we'd have to run as fast as we could to school or we'd be late. As soon as I thought that, we spotted Mian running towards us out of breath.
Mi-chan! You're late! Huh? You waited? You should have just gone on ahead!
Mian was breathing heavily and her face was all red. Her house was right down this road, wasn't it? It wasn't far enough away for her to end up like this, was it?
Mi-chan, are you not feeling well?
Huh? Now that she mentioned it, Rina pushed Mian's bangs away and put her hand to her forehead. Rina, your hand is pretty cold.
Mi-chan, you're a little bit warm.
It's no big deal. Give it half a day and I'll be as fit as a fiddle. Are you really okay? You don't have to push yourself, you know. What's this? Kei-chan, are you worried about me? That's nice of you. That answer wasn't like Mian at all. She must have had it pretty bad.
I just think you should push yourself. Just think you shouldn't put yourself so hard. We can tell the teacher you had to take the day off.
I'm fine. I took some medicine. I think it's already working. Mian forced an energetic expression onto her face and flexed her biceps at us. Man, flexing? Fuck yeah. Okay, then let's go. Don't overdo it. But, of course, there's the time.
What? Well, we need to run or we won't make it to wing it!
Ah, this morning sure is thrilling. Maybe it's just what I need to shake off this slowness. Let's run! Hey, wait, you're sick! Don't go overboard! Mian began to run vigorously anyway.
Mi-chan is older than us, right? She knows her own body better than anyone.
I decided to leave it at that and assume she was fine. Great, then we should get going too. We began to run after Mian. Cicadas? Cicadas? Cicadas, cicadas, cicadas. The school looked the same as always. The hours passed listlessly and my lack of sleep took its toll. If there was a If there was a sport where people competed by sleeping, I'd be world champion right now. The trick to overcoming this sort of dangerous situation was to hold your pencil upside down. Why, you ask? So you don't draw strange patterns all over your notes while half asleep. I've done that. I've done that so much. If you were holding your pencil upside down, that wouldn't happen, would it? No, you'd just erase a lot of stuff. Bump, 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 bump. Something that felt like an eraser hit me in the head 6 times. Ow, ow. What was that for, Satoko?
I haven't done a single thing!
Who else would play a prank on me like this? Oh, it was chalk, not an eraser. Behind me, like a female outlaw might hold razors, was the teacher's shadow, holding 3 pieces of chalk in each hand. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Libera-kun, go and wash your face! Right. Gladly! That alone was enough to wake me up, but I flew out into the hallway as if shoved out by the pressure exuded by the teacher's sheer power. Powerful teacher. If I was going to wash my face anyway, then I would rather use the sinks out front rather than the ones in the dark restroom. Thinking that, I left the hallway and went to the entrance. The sunlight was strong, so strong you wouldn't think it was June. I turned the faucet, and with a lifeless bubble noise, lukewarm water came pouring out. If I let it run for a few moments, would it get cold? I looked at it absent-mindedly for a while. I knew you'd choose these sinks, Kei-chan. The ones out front just feel better, don't they? Mian? I don't want to yawn. No cutting class now. I stuck my hands into the water to find it had gotten so cold that it seemed strange it had ever been warm. I scooped it up and splashed it against my face. Once I was done, I moved out of the way and Mian did the same. Mian, how is your cold doing? You're sleepy because of the medicine, not from lack of sleep, right? Actually, this is a secret, but after the festival yesterday, I got wrapped up in the party my relatives were having. And well, I had a bit. A bit. She made a gesture like she was tilting a cup into her mouth, which means you didn't have a cold or anything. Are you hungover? How old are you? Nah, give me a break. I really don't feel well, you know? I suppose she'd be feeling lousy either way. Still, you treat colds and hangovers in completely different ways. I was worried over nothing. Man, I guess that's just like you, Mian. Mian scratched her head, a little embarrassed. She didn't seem to be feeling well, but now that I knew it was a hangover, I didn't need to worry too much. You still need to worry when it's a hangover? They suck. It would go away with time, after all. Same with colds! That doesn't make it less sucky! Oh, but my head really is pounding, so the teacher told me I should go home early. You cheater! So are you going home now, Mian? Now that I looked again, Mian had her bag with her. She must have been on her way home. Yep, I feel bad about it, though. I'll get some rest at home like a good girl. Sorry I can't make it to the club. Would you take over as leader for today, Kei-chan? I don't know if that will happen. We have that unspoken rule where we don't do the club unless everyone is there, don't we? We never did it when you had to go to your part-time job, did we? Mian laughed wryly, saying we didn't need to worry about her. No matter how much fun we have, though, I think that feeling guilty about friends who can't share in it is the sign of a really fantastic friendship. In that sense, the Club Mian was created as a wonderful thing. As I thought about it, the moisture on my washed face dried up. I suppose we were talking too much. If I didn't get back to the classroom soon, I could get in trouble. Okay, later. I'm going back. Be careful on your way home. Don't wobble into a sewer or brook, got it? I left it at that, turned around, and started heading back to the classroom. Oh, one more thing, Kei-chan. Mian stopped me and I turned my head to listen. What's up? This may sound weird, but don't think too hard about it. Well, that depends on what it is. Last night, near the end of the festival, did you see Tomataki-san or Takano-san anywhere? I suddenly tensed up. You know Tomataki-san and Takano-san, right? You remember, Kei-chan, when the 4 of you were talking during setup? the day before? If I could, I wanted to forget about sneaking into the storehouse that night as soon as possible. So hearing the names of people I was with at the time really got to me. Besides that, though, why was Mian asking me a question like that? I ended up staring at her, unable to answer immediately. Was she asking to see if I had seen them or not? Or was she asking the question knowing that I had? I couldn't tell. Well, maybe? I might have seen them around. I don't know. My vague response was clearly not Mion's liking. What answer was she expecting from me? There was no way for me to know. I see. Then, one more question. On the same night, did you see Xian? My heart leapt into my throat again. The tiny needles buried underneath Mion's words pricked into me. Didn't you ask me that yesterday? I think I told you that I wasn't sure if I had or not. Did you? I guess I just thought I'd get a different answer if I asked you again. I suddenly noticed something in Mion's eyes, something indescribable. Tamataki-san and Takano-san, Xian too. She was asking me about them. There was no doubt about it. Last night, the four of us snuck into the ritual storehouse. She knew everything. So what? There's not really a curse anyway. That's right. Even Xian and Takano-san said yesterday during the festival that there was no curse. And that, rather than a curse, it was the doing of the villagers. My blood curdled. Mian was, almost without a doubt, aware that we snuck into the storehouse. It was nothing strange. I screwed up bad flipping on the light switch last night. If Mian had been searching for me, it was simple to imagine that she had seen the momentary light and come to find out what was going on. Oh, thank you, Stignopsy, for putting 260 my points to the chat chooses a song for me. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Thank you for coming. It's been a while. It's nice seeing you, Stignopsy. Welcome back. I hope you've been good. Did you really not see her? Why are you so intent on knowing if I did or not? It's not important. It's just that there are some people who are speaking poorly of Tamataki-san, Takano-san, Xian, and you, Kei-chan. I didn't really hear what they were saying, though. Unpleasant sweat dripped down my arms. Ew. And the sound of it hanging from my fingertips was so annoyingly loud. Thank you for putting 260 my points to the chat chooses song for me to sing. That is the community goal that we are trying to get to. It's 20k, I think, to reach it. So if chat would like me to sing to them at some point during the stream or some other time during another stream, put my points to the my plush points to the community goal for chat chooses song for me to sing if you want that. Thank you. I don't believe that you were doing something bad. I just wanted to ask a bit about it, so I did. Sorry for making you uncomfortable, okay? I found myself unable to reply. My reaction must have been made it obvious what the truth was, and yet I couldn't explain myself. Kei-chan, you weren't with Tamataki-san, Takano-san, or Xian, right? Yeah. I finally wrung out an answer between ragged breaths. Mian's expression softened a little. That's good. I'll have to tell them. You weren't involved in anything bad, Kei-chan, so I'll make sure to tell everyone. Yeah, please do. Tell them I wasn't doing anything bad. To everyone, make sure. Everyone. Everyone. Who is everyone? Okay, later. I'll be better tomorrow. Bye-bye. Who is everyone? Wait, Mian, what do you mean by everyone? Just then, a freezing cold hand touched the back of my neck.
Hey, you're late, American. How long does it take you to wash your face?
It was the teacher. I was taking so long she came out to get me. I'm sorry. I was just speaking to Mian. I turned around, but Mian had crossed through the schoolyard without me realizing it. It was now standing at the gate.
Come back to your studies, quickly now!
The teacher was being insistent. We returned to the entrance. I looked back one more time, and Mian was nowhere in sight. Catchy, you haven't seemed well all day.
It's clearly because he had far too much fun yesterday.
I don't want to be told that by the one who got lost. Your face was all red and you were nearly crying.
Satoko-chan was so cute last night. Ow.
My friends did their best to try and cheer me up, but it didn't lighten the mood. Was it far worse than I thought? Had I really done something that terrible last night? These thoughts remained with me for the rest of the day. Man, Kichi-kun. Illuminating thoughts. Not illuminating. Ruminating thoughts. That's the word. You're going through it, aren't you? Oh my gosh, I tried eating Oreos today, okay? And they all broke in my hands. I only tried eating the cream and the cookie just fell apart and I couldn't eat the cream. And then it just fell in my mouth and then I gave up and I just started like eating it. I'm that person that likes the cream but doesn't very much like the cookie without milk. Or an ice cream. But that's just me.
Bye, Kichi-kun. I'll see you tomorrow.
By the time I realized it, I was in front of my own house.
Mi-chan had a cold, right?
Could you have a cold too, Kichi-kun? Could you? Huh? I'm fine. I may look scrawny, but I've never missed school because of a cold. My mom wouldn't allow me to miss school. I forced myself to miss school.
Both you and Mi-chan didn't look so good today, though.
Alien school is what I'm talking about. Thanks for worrying about me. I'm fine. Idiots don't catch colds, remember? Rena smiled, then waved to me and left. Whew. With my shoulders bobbing up and down from breathing heavily, I entered the house. As soon as I got back in, Mom called out to me.
What? Catchy? I'm sorry, but could you go to the library and return a few books for me?
Huh? I don't feel like it.
Your dad and I have to wait inside the house for a phone call right now, so we can't leave. I need you to return them today. Could you please do it?
Sheesh. Did it have to do with Dad's job? No point in arguing if they bring that up. I guess so, but I don't know where the library is.
Oh, you don't? It's a little bit past Okinomiya Station.
Excuse me. That voice made me burp. Just then, the phone rang. My parents' faces immediately turned grim. What the fuck? Mom snatched up the receiver.
Hello? My parents speaking? I'm sorry? Yes, he's right here.
Then she thrust the receiver at my face.
It's for you, Catchy. Don't take too long, okay?
I tried to ask who it was from, but asking the person on the phone directly would be faster. Hello?
Ah, this is Sonozaki. Well, the younger one. Hello. Do you have time to talk right now?
It was Shion. The older sister had a hangover today, but the younger made no reference to it. Shion? I thought you'd be sleeping in today with a hangover, same as Mion.
What? Mion had a hangover? That's so like her.
She laughed warmly, but Mom glared at me, silently telling me to finish up. Whoops, sorry. My parents are waiting for an important call, so I can't talk for too long. What do you need? There's something I wanted to talk about, but if we can't talk long, I guess that's that. She sounded a little disappointed. What would Shion want to talk to me about? Now I was interested. Then how about we meet in person? If you could show me where the library is too, that would be great. You mean the public library near the station? Yes, that's fine. I'd go past there on my way to work anyway. Okay, then you know where I usually meet up with Mion? At that intersection where the small path from the Sonozaki house splits? Okay, Chan. Did I not tell you? I don't live at the main house. I live in Okinomiya. If we could meet by the ticket machines at Okinomiya Station, that would be great. Main house? Living in Okinomiya? Now that you mentioned it, it's always seemed like the Sonozaki sisters weren't communicating. Did they live in different houses? And now that she mentioned it, Nina said she never met the younger sister, despite going over to play sometimes. Let's meet at the station then. I'll go there right away. Bye! I set the receiver down and Mom immediately thrust a large pile of library books in my face. 6 volumes of long-form mystery novels. Mom had her own hobbies.
Thank you, Catchy! Be back by my phone!
Got it. Okay, I'm going. I suppose I changed my clothes and grabbed my bike key. I climbed the stairs to my bedroom. Xian had been waiting for me already, so meeting up was a smooth process. Wow, Mian never keeps her appointments. I mean, honestly. Making my sister the standard for everything will get you in trouble. Xian seemed a little unsteady too. She was drinking with Mian last night, wasn't she? You were drinking last night too, weren't you? Don't try and hide it. You definitely went home from school early.
Oh, too bad. I've been at home all day in the first place. I'm smarter than Mian after all.
Hey, I don't think you can call playing hooky smarter.
You should finish your errand first. We don't have that much time. We're going to the library, right?
Yeah, thanks. My mom had to return some books by today. Is the library far?
No, it's really close by.
As she said that, we spotted the signboard for the library almost immediately. If it was this easy to find, then I guess I didn't need Xian to show me where it was after all. We rode around a bend, and the building was right there. You were just interested in what she wanted to say. That's all you wanted. Shishibone Public Library. We lived in the country, so I hadn't expected too much, but it was pretty big. I don't think I've ever been to the library where I live. I don't think I've ever been inside. Where is the library? Well, the place that I call home on planet Earth, sometimes I visit, and I've never went to the library. Interesting. I've been to other libraries, but not this one. The first floor was actually a government office. Oh. So the library was only on the second floor, but it still looked large enough to fit a decent collection of books. We passed through the automatic doors and were greeted by the cool breeze of an air curtain. The cicadas had been loud outside, but it was quiet inside the library. The air conditioning inside was keeping the temperature at an ideal level for the books, which had that mildewy smell unique to old paper. I guess every library is basically the same. If there was one difference, it was that people studying for tests weren't taking up all the seats. I was one of those people, but now that seemed like a distant memory. Hello, I have books I'd like to return. The librarian went through the process of checking them in, and then returned my mom's library card. Xian was going around the bookshelves with a deeply interested look on her face, like she wasn't the type who went to libraries very often, Sam. I would also be looking around at the library in deep thought, because I also don't go to libraries very often, but libraries do intrigue me. I do enjoy libraries. Don't fall.
Sorry for the wait. I'm all done.
Oh, that was catchy. Whoops, I thought that was the librarian or something. Libraries sure are nice and cool, aren't they? I want to work in a library one day. What did I do to you, Xian? Don't know whether to call that boring or dependable. It's a pretty small dream compared to your sister. Mian would definitely want to be a hard-working employee for an international trading company or some crazy job that involves her running all around the world. Same. That sounds fun. But you get so tired. So tired. Compared to that, what Xian said is pretty heartwarming. Well, we need to keep our differences dear to us. We're not copies. We're two different people, called Xian and Mian. Twins have a lot to think about, huh? Still, it sounds like fun. You make them have a lot to think about! I don't have any brothers, so there's just me and my parents at my house. It can get a little uncomfortable. It's the same for me. I don't live with Mian after all. Oh, right. She said something like she didn't. Didn't she? Why, though? Sisters living apart is unusual. We were getting tired of talking while we were walking. We ended up going to the lounge area, which was vacant, and continuing the conversation. Yes, Mian lives at the main house, and I live in Okinomiya. What do you mean by main house? You make it sound like you're nobility. It's just the main house. The Sonozaki family's main house. Mian's the successor, so she lives with Nana and apparently studies all sorts of things as preparation to be the head of the family. Mian, the head of the family? It kind of fit her personality, but kind of didn't too. Kei-chan, you just moved here, right? This will sound like I'm boasting, but we of the Sonozaki family are kind of personages around here. Personages? I don't know. I tried. I'm so sorry. I tried. Huh? Seriously? The word personage didn't really, I don't know if that's even, didn't really match the extremely sociable air that Mion and Shion gave off. From what Shion explained, the Sonozaki family goes way back to the beginnings of Hinamizawa. After the war, they had a bunch of successful ventures and extended their influence to a wide area. The Sonozaki house is a foundation under which the entire family cooperates, though the current family head grandma was the one who built it. The entire family would provide backup to help one relative with a business venture. They were like a huge living company. This let them avoid tax-related problems and help relatives' ventures succeed one after another using large amounts of money. If you ever go for a walk through Okonomiya, pay attention to the signboards and stuff. There's a ton of shops that are managed by members of the Sonozaki family. Now that you mention it, the toy store looked like it was managed by relatives as well. Does that mean your relatives operate Angel Mart too? Even what few shops I was familiar with were involved with the Sonozaki family. It was definitely surprising. The family isn't particularly strong in finance and real estate. Even a lot of members of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry either have the last name Sonozaki or are their relatives. There are Sonozakis in the city council and the prefectural assembly too, since they have the Okonomiya area giving them strong electoral support. Wait a minute. This is all escalating pretty quickly. Her relatives operate shops in downtown Okonomiya, and they're especially strong in finance and real estate. On top of that, a lot of those in the Chamber of the Commerce and Industry are relatives, and there are even people elected to local offices. So then, the Sonozaki family, it's pretty famous in this area.
Yes, it's crazy!
All of a sudden, a cigarette-smoking, overweight old man interrupted our conversation. Wait, I know this guy.
Hello! Good afternoon! Are you on a date today? What I would give to be young again!
If you thought we were on a date, then why are you bothering us? Oishi-san. That was it. He was Oishi-san, a police officer. I thought it was this person who came to my rescue when I got involved with those delinquents before. Now that I thought about it, Mion didn't seem to like him very much.
No, I apologize. I heard a familiar voice, so I came over to see.
Oishi-san laughed hoarsely, not showing any sign of giving up. As Shion watched him do so, I didn't feel the same sense of malice from her as I had from Mion.
Mabera-san, right? You're one tough guy. Two-timing the Sonozaki sisters, are you?
Oh man, policeman, stop. No, I'm not two-timing anyone. I turned around to look at Shion and plead for help, but she grinned and maintained her silence. Her gaze wandered. She looked at the clock. I'm sorry, Kei-chan. I really need to get to my job. Huh? Oh, did you... Wait, didn't Shion have something to talk about today? Now this is weird man is here, though. Yep, I'll see you later. Oh, I'll give you a call after I'm done. It'll be okay to call at night, right? Yeah, probably okay. Then I'll talk to you later tonight. Bye! Shion left so fast she was practically running. Oishi-san was waving at me with a grin. I felt like I had been left here as bait so she could get away. Maybe she was lying about having to go to work?
You're quite the big shot being so close to the Sonozaki sisters. I mean daughters. Maybe I should rethink how I talk to you too.
Oishi-san put a coin into a vending machine as he said something a bit appalling.
Is iced tea okay with you? Do you want milk in it?
Huh? Oh no,
I'll put some in then, alright? Here you are.
He handed me a cup of tea filled to the brim with ice as I looked on absent-mindedly. I don't think I'm obligated to have a guy like this buy me a drink, but he did get it for me, so I'll thank him. Was Oishi-san just killing time? We didn't know each other very well, and he still engaged me in conversation about all sorts of dumb things. When I thought back to how I talked with Shion, this seemed like a total disaster. Don't talk to cops. Don't do it. Run away. Don't take the iced tea.
Mabera-san, how much do you know about Sonozaki-san?
See, this is why you should run away. You're gonna piss off your friends. Other than what I heard just now, nothing. Until then, I hadn't known anything about either Mian or Xian, other than the fact that they were both interesting. I really did only just learn that she was the daughter of some prestigious family.
The Sonozakis are a Yakuza group with this entire region under their thumb. Plus, her father is a high-ranked executive in the XX Yakuza Association. Did you know that?
What? An executive?
Have you ever seen where Xian-san lives? It's the very picture of a gang boss's house, protected by high walls, barbed wire fence, and security cameras. If you have the chance, you should go and visit her.
She mentioned Mian being a successor, but to a Yakuza group?
No. Not at all, not at all. A boring old Yakuza group isn't the only thing Mian Sonozaki-san will inherit. She's inheriting the Sonozaki-san family itself. I'll leave it to you to mull over what exactly that means.
Wishy-san had spoken lightly about all this from start to finish, but what he was saying wasn't light in the least. It was abrupt and unbelievable.
If Mian-san wanted to, she could kill someone in the middle of the street and still cover it up. Not only would witnesses not show up, but she'd put pressure on the police, too.
Mian would never kill someone.
No, she wouldn't. I'm just speaking hypothetically.
Your name, it was Oishi-san, right?
Yes, that's right.
Then Oishi-san, whatever family Mian comes from, it doesn't change the fact that she's the best friend I could ever have, and I'm proud of that. I don't appreciate people speaking ill of her. I let my quiet anger show through my gaze as I stared at him. Of course, I could never seem to tell what he's thinking, so I don't know if it had any effect.
Then let me be frank. If Mian-san was suspected of a handful of incidents, what would you think?
Suspected? Incidents? You can't just say terrible stuff like that on a whim. Well, he just did, like in chapter 1. He was like all up in Rina, and you were like, no way! But in the end, we just fudged up hard. I have water. Nope, that's a lie. I don't have water. I have, Wait, I do have water, but I also have coffee. You can't say just terrible stuff like that on a whim. Then it would be a misunderstanding, of course. Mian may say some dangerous things, but she's not the kind of person who would do something so awful. Bear-san, keep your voice down. We're in a library. Oishi-san shushed me, but in a state of heightened excitement as I was, I wouldn't be calmed so easily.
Please calm down. As I said before, the Sonozaki family holds a lot of power in this region. For better or worse. So if anything happens, they would immediately be suspect. I'd appreciate it if you understood that.
Well, I know that Oishi-san is trying to say. Combining it with what Xian told me before, the Sonozaki family is huge and controls everything from Hanimazawa to Okinomiya. Mian, meanwhile, is its successor, who apparently holds strong influence over the entire family. Still, that's all? That's the only reason they're suspecting her?
I'm just doing my job here. Not to doubt Mian-san or anything, but to clear up suspicions surrounding her. Please, think of it like that.
He could talk a dog out of a meat truck. He was the definition of shrewd, unfair adult. At this point, I began to think that it was no coincidence I met him. Oishi-san, do you need something from me? That's why you don't talk to cops, boy!
Yes, I do. Kichimabera-san.
He answered in an absent tone of voice.
Mian's being suspected of something and you came to hear from a friend of hers. Me. Is that it?
Oh, well, you are now the cop. Mabera, sorry.
No, that isn't it. I didn't come to talk to a friend of Mian Sonozaki-san. I came here to talk to Kichimabera-san. It would probably be bothered you had I visited your house.
To me? What do the police want with me? Having realized this faked coincidental meeting had me as its target, my mood immediately turned foul.
Nah, you don't need to be so tense. Calm down and just answer a few questions.
Am I being questioned?
Let's call it a chat with a guy who happened to run into.
Woo-hoo-hoo, no, you're being questioned, boy. Oishi-san freely suggested that I relax. That said, behind his eyes was a light, which I could only see sometimes that was sharp as a hawk. Excuse me. If I tried in vain to run away, he might actually take me in and bring me to the interrogation room or something. That was an undoubtedly unpleasant thought.
You had a roaring good time at the Wananagashi Festival last night, didn't you?
Don't beat around the bush, please. I can't do small talk right now.
Last night during the festival.
Spill your beans.
Did you see Jiro Tamataki-san and Mio Takano-san?
I could painfully feel myself give a start.
Where did I put those pictures? Oh, here they are.
He opened a small notebook and removed 2 photographs. I didn't have to look. Well, who knows? I might have seen them around. I don't remember. I was asked the same question for the second time today. I gave the same answer for the second time, too.
Your memories are blurry. You couldn't have possibly been drinking or anything.
Here, too, I got the same answer as I had from Mion. I realized he wasn't taking my vague reply well. Why is he asking me the same thing Mion did? The dark feelings I had nearly forgotten due to my conversation with Shion came rushing back in a hurry. We stuck into the sacred ritual storehouse, a punishable act. It was on a tiny impulse. While it may not count for much now, I do feel sorry about it.
I'll ask you again. Did you see Jiro Tomataki-san and Mio Takano-san at the festival last night?
His tone was soft, but there was a dreadfulness in his voice, clearly different from the first time he asked. I'm scared. That was exactly how I felt. Even if you repeat the question, my answer won't change. I don't really remember. There wasn't any better answer I could give him. I didn't have the balls to say I didn't see them, nor the courage to admit I had.
I see. I just thought that maybe I'd get a different answer if I asked a second time.
My fuck! I'm too scared to look at Oishi-san in the eyes.
I'll change the question. Come on, Mabera-san. Relax.
How can he? You're a cop asking him questions that are scary! Oishi-san grabbed my shoulders and squeezed them as if trying to give me a massage. Don't touch. No, bad touch. Bad touch. It mostly just hurt, though. Still, why would he ask the same thing as Mion? If he's asking the same things, then the next question must be...
On the same night of the festival, did you see Shion Sonozaki-san?
Clatter, clatter, clatter. I wondered what that sound was, and when I looked down, I saw that it was the unmelted ice in the cup I was gripping in my hands. My hands were trembling, rocking the ice back and forth. Realizing that, I hastily put the remaining ice in my mouth and crunched down on... Sorry. I may have seen her, but, well, you know, she looks just like Mion. I might have just mistaken the two.
No, but that can't be.
Suddenly, Oishi-san grabbed both my shoulders and hunched down to give me a level stare. This must be what it's like to be a deer in the headlights. I want to look away, but I can't. This is the first time I've experienced such a piercing stare.
Mion-san and Shion-san wear completely different clothing. You wouldn't mistake the two so easily, I would think, Mabera-san.
His voice was harsh the same as when Mion said it. I could feel my heartbeat quickening. When I realized he could feel it through the hands on my shoulders, I got even more scared. Why? Why are Mion and Oishi-san both asking about last night? Was sneaking into that storehouse so bad? Ugh. I shouldn't have let Takano-san talk me into it. Tomataki-san casually said to check it out too, so... Even Shion, she hadn't encouraged me. No, I understood. I was the one most at fault here. I shouldn't have let my curiosity get the better of me. I shouldn't have gone into that forbidden storehouse. Oishi-san, I think that's our cue to get out of here. A young man wearing a suit came into the lounge. From the way he held himself, I knew immediately that he was Oishi-san's subordinate.
Oh, is it? So it is closing time already.
I hadn't realized it until you said something. The jingle and announcement telling patrons the library had closed and started playing without me realizing it. I was so irritated, so overwhelmed that I couldn't even hear it.
Well then, Mabara-kun, we're out of time, so allow me to take my leave. I'd like to talk with you more about this at your leisure, when we have more time.
This isn't a joke. If I never saw him again, it would be too soon. Oishi-san followed his subordinate and left the lounge behind him. However, he spun back around.
Oh, right, Mabara-san?
What is it?
Those 2 questions I asked you before. You don't remember well enough to answer either of them, correct?
Right.
Just so you know, you saw them all yesterday. You were walking along, the 4 of you, having quite a pleasant time. Near the stone steps. I saw you with my own eyes.
I caught my breath, and my heart seemed like it was about to stop. What a detestable person. That's right. He knew, and he was testing me. Piece of shit.
We'll meet again. Have a good year.
No! Fuck you! I sat there like a rock, unmoving, until I could no longer hear the clacking sounds of their footsteps. What the fuck? I'm excited for the shirt. I don't know when the shirt comes. I don't know when it comes, but it might be in this chapter where it says pigs or whatever on her shirt. I think I finally understand why she's wearing that shirt. Oishi-san. I was on my way back home. The cries of the Higurashi accentuated the already lonely evening. More time had passed than I thought. The orange of the dusky sky was being chased down, little by little, an indigo color approaching from the east. Exhausted from the slow climb towards Hinamizawa, without even noticing, I'd gotten off my bicycle and was pushing it uphill. Oh, I know Aoni. I haven't played Aoni ever, I think. I watched it though. But I do have another game that I'm gonna be starting. It's an RPG Maker game. I'm gonna announce it at some point. I don't understand any of this. No one had told me to my face that I'd done something wrong. No, in fact, it might have been much easier on me that way. What happened yesterday? It really was just my curiosity. It really was no more than a quiet prank. No more than having the courage to cross at a red light as long as you did it with other people. The storehouse for ritual implements, a hallowed ground only accessible to the family of the priest. For sure, I'd seen terrifying things that I never imagined would be there. Thinking on it now, though, it didn't matter what was stormed away inside. It didn't make the wrong I had committed any more right. What the 4 of us did, Nyan seemed to know about. For some reason, even the police were trying to learn what the 4 of us did. Did we do something bad? Really? It doesn't matter how wrong it was. I did something wrong. It was nothing more than that, and yet I couldn't accept it. I didn't apologize to Nyan or Oishi-san. All I did was shield myself with ambiguities. I did something wrong yesterday.
Yeah.
I set foot into a forbidden storehouse for a little bit of mischief. I'll forget everything I saw in there. I won't ever do something like that again, either. I'm sorry. If I apologized like that, would they forgive me? The suddenly cold evening air left no room for such sentiment. However, as it mercilessly chilled my feet, urging me to head home as soon as possible. In the end, the evening air was correct. If I trudged along such an isolated road, regrets would pile on top of regrets, but nothing would change. Let's go home. I'll go home, go to my room, put on my favorite music or something, and go to bed. That might sound plain and boring, but it's probably the strongest I've felt all day. Now that I've made a decision, there's no point in dawdling in a place like this. I sat back on my bike. I pushed hard on the pedals. I rapidly advanced forward. I steadily gained speed. The wind was cutting and mercilessly cold, but it actually felt good, as if it were softly punishing me. Mabara, you masochist. I didn't eat much dinner before excusing myself early and returning to my bedroom. My mom called for me downstairs.
Kechi! You have a girl! It's from Sonozaki-san!
Sonozaki? Was it Mian? No, it was Shion. I just remembered. She'd had something she wanted to tell me today. Oishi-san had interrupted us, so she didn't get the chance. Shion said she'd call tonight. Hello? Is that you, Shion? Hello. Ran into a bit of trouble today, didn't we? She said it so plainly that I got a bit annoyed. She was the one who left me there and ran. Don't say that. I gave you the signal to run away with me, didn't I? You just sat there looking dazed, Kei-chan. I wasn't dazed. All of a sudden you left me there, and after that I had to put up with that Oishi guy for ages. Don't complain to me about it. I can't believe she passed it off like that. She looks just like Mian, and yet inside she's different? Yes, because they are two different people, Kechi. Get that through your brain. I got a little irritated at myself when I realized I was, somewhere in my mind, hoping for the same reaction I would get from Mian, even though she's a different person. Sorry. Next time I'll run away as first thing and leave you there. Hey, it's ladies first! Shion laughed refreshingly. When I heard her voice, I realized she wasn't really that angry or anything. It was just as she said. The cause of my temper was because it was my own fault for not leaving immediately. I'll stop blaming it on others. Blaming it on others would be... Anyway, you had something to tell me, right? Oh yeah! I mean, if you already know, then it's not something that bears repeating. Do you already know? Shion lowered her voice suddenly, as if she were glancing around. I had no idea what I could already know. Sorry, but I have no clue what you're talking about. At least give me a hint. So that means you don't know. She seemed to take my stupid-sounding question as evidence. However, her voice didn't sound disappointed or exasperated in the slightest. Actually, it's about last night, during the Watanagashi festival. My entire body jolted as I was assailed by a terrible feeling. Is Shion going to ask the same thing? Have I seen Tomotaki-san or Takano-san? Have you seen me, Kechi-kun? Have you seen me? Huh? Have you seen me around? No, I haven't. I haven't seen you around at all, Shion. My God. Fools, all of them. Hello? Kei-chan, are you listening? Yeah, I am. What about last night? The four of us went in there, right? She didn't beat around the bush. Whether or not I wanted to admit it, that was the actual honest truth, and I couldn't act like it hadn't happened. Then, after that, we walked away together, and then went our separate ways near the stone stairs, right? Takano-san and Tomotaki-san went to the stream, and you stayed there, Kei-chan. I went over to see some relatives. Yeah? Why do you ask? We won't make any progress if we keep asking each other questions, so let me ask this question first, okay? You mean, did I see Tomotaki-san and Takano-san last night? Huh? Oh, yes. Did you see the two of them after that? I'd be lying if I said I was surprised. Wasn't surprised. This is the third time I've been asked this question today. Why? Why? What the hell is going on? Why? Why are you asking me that? No, Kei-chan, I'm asking the question. Please answer me. Did you, Shion? If you answer first, then I'll answer. My shabby response betrayed how scared and small I felt now. After everything that happened today, Shion didn't say anything for a few moments. Just as I was beginning to think I'd really put my foot in my mouth, with that response, she finally answered me. Of course I didn't see them. My relatives were with me, and they can vouch for that. I didn't see them either. People can vouch for me too, like Mian, Rina, and everyone else. Now that we knew our answers matched, she let out a sigh that sounded more relieved than anything else. Thank you for answering me honestly. Okay then. I'll tell you. Oh shit. Apparently last night, Takano-san and Tomotaki-san died. Sorry, Shion. What was that you just said? Apparently, last night, Takano-san and Tomotaki-san died. Takano-san was found burned to death. Tomotaki-san was... well, it looked like a suicide. I found out this morning. I heard my dad talking to a relative on the phone about it. Oh shit. Late last night, a police car on its way back from festival security duty had discovered Tomotaki-san lying in the middle of the road heading towards Okonomiya. He had clawed out his throat and died. What? He clawed out his own throat? That bright, cheerful Tomotaki-san committed suicide? That can't possibly be right. The police did an autopsy. He did it with his own fingernails. He scratched at his throat so hard that he ruptured his blood vessels and bled out. He died in a pool of his own blood. That's what they said. I've never heard of such an instant suicide. You can't just scratch open your own throat like that. I realized I was yelling too loudly, so I lowered the force I was putting into my voice. Excuse me. I didn't want my parents to hear me, so I switched to the cordless phone and ran up to my room. Sorry for yelling. So, was Takano-san, was that a suicide too? In her case, it's a little unclear. Takano-san's body was found in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. Employees at a rest stop nearby reported to the police late that night that they could see flames in the mountains. Firefighters dispatched there were the first ones to find her. An autopsy concluded that it was the burned corpse of a half-naked female. They initially considered the body beyond recognition, but directly after, there was a request for a dental comparison from the XX Prefectural Police Station in Okonomiya, and the results concluded that it was Mio Takano. The cause of death wasn't confirmed, but it was highly likely to have been a homicide, since she was in her undergarments and her clothes were nowhere in the area. Homicide. The oil drum had fallen over, so it's also possible she burned herself to death. It couldn't be possibly have been suicide. If you're going to die, there are plenty of easier ways, aren't there? Well, I mean, you can rationalize all you want, Mabera, but like, this can't be suicide. That's what I think. It's unthinkable that Tamaki-san would kill himself too. After the two of us rattled on at each other, there was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths. And as we calmed our nerves, right then, I understood what Shion's story actually meant. I think it will end up being Oyashiro-sama's curse. We all did more than enough to deserve it after all. Deserve? You've got to be kidding! It's not like Shion wanted to see it with me. I just went along with her. I tried to say that, but I fell silent. Nothing would come of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me. I could have put my foot down. I lost my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. Yes, it was my fault, and no one else's. Shion, last night when we snuck into the ritual storehouse, did you predict things would turn out this way? Of course not. I mean, I thought it was pretty risky, but I never even dreamed something like this could happen. Shion's words were probably her true feelings. She knew she could get in trouble if we were caught, but that was the thrill of this little adventure. It was the same for me. Besides that, Kei-chan, think about it for a moment. Didn't Oyashiro-sama's curse turn out a little strange this year? It was already plenty strange, seeing as how Tomotaki-san and Takano-san died like that. Given all that, what could possibly be stranger? I mean that they found 2 corpses. Remember what I said? Every other year, one person would die and one person would disappear. This year is the first time 2 people have been found dead. That may be true, but that's not a huge deal, is it? It is, Kei-chan. Think about it harder. Listen, if 2 people died because of Oyashiro-sama's curse, then in order to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger, 2 people would need to be sacrificed. Is that how it works? So what? Tomotaki-san and Takano-san died, so now 2 people are going to go missing this year? I don't understand why, but when I said that, I felt my spine freeze. I don't think anyone's been confirmed missing yet. I think that those 2 people have yet to disappear. Shion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling down her back. Hello! 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 Hi, Simp Inc. Godku! Welcome to the stream! And hello, thank you for the follow! Thank you! I appreciate it a lot! Welcome to the UFO! I hope you enjoy your stay! Thank you! It's nice seeing you! 2 people have yet to disappear? Xian didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap into a fist around my heart, cold hands feeling about on my chest. Neither of us could say anything. Tomitaki-san opened the lock and he died. Takano-san exposed the ritual storehouse and she died. That scared the heck out of me. I didn't expect it to.
Yeah, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I hope you're having a nice day today. Hello. This is how I greet everyone. So if you come by more often, you'll be greeted like this a lot more. But it's nice seeing you. You can come by whenever you want. This isn't like you need to, like, you know, just, yes, I hope you understand and I appreciate you and everyone who supports me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a lot. I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate everyone. If 2 more people were to be sacrificed, then they would be none other than the ones who entered with them, none other than us. No, this has got to be a joke. I wanted so much for her to pass this off as a joke even now. That, though, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomitaki-san and Takano-san had died in a common way like a car accident, I could tell myself it was a coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat and she burned to death, drowned in oil, in the mountains. Hi, Delta Wolf! Welcome to the stream! Welcome! Thanks for joining! I hope you're having a nice day today! Hello! Yeah, there's a game! It's called Higurashi, but it's a VN. It's a visual novel. It's a horror visual novel. Have you heard of Higurashi, Delta Wolf?
It's kind of messed up. It was as if, in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must be someone punishing us, some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still didn't want to accept the terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge that a horrible crisis was growing near for Xian and I. That's why I argued against it. I argued, knowing I was running away. In the first place, it's not even in the newspaper, is it? Such a monstrous incident would be all over the newspaper and television. Magazine writers would flood the village too, thinking it'd make for an interesting story.
Of course it's not getting reported by the media. That's how it was in the past, too.
When the incidents occurred for the 3rd year in a row, there were some third-rate magazines that sniffed out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Hinamazawa. Fearing that the region would develop a negative stigma, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Since last year, it became a big conspiracy where no information about the incidents was allowed to be leaked to the media. I hear the elders and the top brass from the Sonozaki family put all the pressure they could on the police.
Then you mean their deaths are going to be dealt with in total secrecy?
That's how it is. Of course, the police are investigating it. That's being performed in secret too, though, so I hear the investigation itself is very restricted in what it can do and can't do. You could essentially say they're interfering with a police investigation. This story was unbelievable. People died, and yet they don't publicize it and deal with everything in secret.
I mean...
It's not too far off from the truth. If we break it down further, it means that no matter who dies on the night of the Wanadagashi, it won't go public.
That's the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever heard!
Kei-chan, before I said how the villagers could be the ones carrying out Oyashiro-sama's curse, that's what I mean. At some point, a tradition was created here in Hinamazawa, where every year you're allowed to kill someone on the night of the Wanadagashi under the guise of it being Oyashiro-sama's curse.
Hi, Bran-chan! Welcome to the stream! Welcome! Thanks for joining! I hope you're having a nice day today!
This is scary!
Thank you, Bran-chan! Thank you! I appreciate it a lot! Thank you!
When someone dies on the night of the Wanadagashi, it turns into the curse of the Oyashiro-sama. The curse turns into the serial murder incidents.
Your mom?
The curse turns into the serial murder incidents.
You can sub if you want. My YouTube is right there. It has my older videos when I before I switched on Twitch for streaming. Yeah, but it has my older games that I played in drawings. I've also been thinking about drawing streams, and I've been wondering about that too. I've been thinking about a lot of stuff, and like, you can subscribe if you want. Just click, it's free. Just click it's on YouTube. Unless you're talking about like Twitch subbing, then I don't know how to help you. I'm sorry, I'm broke too. But in due time, maybe I won't be broke. Whenever my Twitch check comes. The curse turns into the serial murder incidents. In order to avoid exacerbating the negative stigma surrounding Hinamizawa, those incidents are dealt with in secret. That's insane! Dead and missing people turn up every year! However bad the stigma gets, the police have to draw the line somewhere, don't they? You could say the incidents happening every year is mysterious, but the police can get the job done when they need to. After all, the incidents always get resolved individually. It doesn't end up being a string of incidents, you know? It just so happens that something unfortunate happens on the night of the Wananagashi every year. That's all it turns into. You're all great! You're great, Branchan. You're great, Delta Wolf. You're great, Godku. You're great, Synopsy. You're great, everyone who's watching who's not talking. Everyone is great. It's okay. What happened? Oh, I must have clicked a button. You're all great, and I'm glad you're all here. And thank you all for the support. I appreciate it a lot. So much. Most of the criminals responsible for the original dismemberment were arrested. The last one managed to get and stay away. But the events were totally exposed and elucidated, so it was, in an essence, resolved. The dam supporting couple who died in an accident on the second year, that was an accidental death. Plain and simple. They made a lot of investigations. Water Maichi! They made a lot of investigations into the possibility of it having been a homicide, but they didn't turn up anything. It ended up as an accident! It was resolved. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. There were doctors present at the hospital at his deathbed, and they were all trustworthy medical certificates. Hydration donation! Hydration donation! Cheers! 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 Thank you for the hydration donation. I appreciate it a lot. It's true, too much talking will leave your mouth dry. You don't want that. Thank you, Stagnopsy, for the hydrate. Now I'm out of water, but I still have some coffee. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. There were doctors present at the hospital at his deathbed, and they all had trustworthy medical certificates. They even did an autopsy. It concluded that it wasn't a homicide. That was resolved too. On the fourth year, the sister-in-law of the dam-supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was an abnormal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage. He confessed that he thought Orishiro-sama's curse was so interesting he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while imprisoned, so this incident was essentially resolved as well. That's right. None of the incidents had any relation to another, and each was independently resolved. Excuse me. So then why does an unfortunate coincidence occur every year on the night of the Wananagashi? You can try and say it's a string of related incidents, but they're not related. Yet, every year, someone always dies and someone always disappears. The story Takano-san told me on the day before during the setup, now that the curse really had occurred this year, I couldn't just laugh it off. Then, does that mean it'll come for us too? Just like how one person dies and one disappears every year. Are you saying we'll be taken along with Tomotaki-san and Takano-san in a race too? My lips had, at some point, become completely dry, and just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me. Sorry, I thought I heard an alarm. Sure, we shouldn't have, but we were just looking, right?
We didn't steal anything or take anything out, and we didn't tell anyone that we looked, right? I was already regretting having committed such a wrong. Even so, was it really so bad that Tamataki-san and Takano-san deserve such cruel deaths? I'll be right back. There is noise, and I want to make sure that they're okay. I was dumb and didn't bring up my water cup so I could refill it. Well, here we are. Besides, I didn't care about anything I saw in there at all. Takano-san was the only one getting so happy over it, wasn't she? Takano-san was the only one at fault. I don't have anything to do with this. I'm not interested. I'm not involved. I don't give a shit about what was in there. I knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self in the innermost depths of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam, and I couldn't stop them anymore. I didn't have any interest in any of this from the start, damn it! All I wanted to do was watch Rika-chan's performance! You were the one who pulled me away from that, weren't you, Shion? I don't give a rat's ass whether those two were trying to steal something or try to meet up secretly or whatever. That's right, you're the one who made me go in there in the first place, Shion. You were all, Kei-chan, you need to see what's inside! And you convinced me and then pulled me in! Why the hell did you do that? I didn't have anything to do with this! What will you do? What are you going to do, damn it? How are you going to take responsibility for this, huh? Hey, are you listening? Click. Without any warning, the phone cut off, with the soft sound of the receiver being slammed down. Shion was just as terrified as I was. I just said some really self-centered things. My riled-up emotions disappeared as if they never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret at having run my mouth so irresponsibly. I could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was too late. What have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing about to descend upon us. As for me, I could only whine like a child about it. I went to call her back, but then remembered she lived in Okinomiya. I didn't know her phone number. Since I had declared to Mion that I hadn't seen Shion last night, I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand, and I simply prayed that Shion would call me back again. Please, Shion, calm down and call me again. Ring, 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 phone call, ring, 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 phone call. Hello, this is Mabera. I swept up the receiver as though it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at the exact moment. Is this the Mabera's residence? Excuse me for the late call. I'm Kimiyoshi. Is this the head of the household? It was the voice of a middle-aged man. Oh, well, that middle-aged man sounds like a woman. All my hopes rushed out of me. No, it isn't. If you need Dad, I'll go call him. I went to put the receiver back down, but the man stopped me hurriedly. Oh, no, if he's busy, then it's fine. I'll change my voice. This may be a strange question, but is my old man paying you a visit? No, nobody's here at the moment. I see! Again, I apologize for calling you so late at night. Goodbye. Clack. I don't know who that was, but what if Shion tried to call while I was talking to him? I thought, bubbling with egotistic anger. Egotistic anger? Hey, wait. Give it a break, Kechi Babera. These are the selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? The more I thought about it, the more I thought that Shion had given up hope in the short time since we had our conversation. I didn't want to call anymore. Calm yourself, Kechi Mabera. If Shion does call again, then first apologize in a calm voice. If you do that, then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night. Oh, man. Sorry, I need to answer this. Not lone, long. With an exclamation point, damn it! I can't type. Alright. I need to go to the bathroom. Let's take a small break. Is there music going on? Is there... Cool, there is. Alright. It's very soft. Enjoy the music while I go and get water and I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the little aliens room. Be right back.
I'm back. Okay.
Ah, sugar. Well, I hope you read that because it's been chilling there for a moment. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as who the only ally who would support me was. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, whenever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake, as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms. Though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time, I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. Damn it! This is no time for sleep, Kechimabera! I slapped myself in the face a few times. Then, I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. That wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. Amazing! After that, I was finally wide awake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide. What's wrong, Kechi? Are you going somewhere today? Going somewhere? Yeah, to school. I thought it was going to be the weekend and it would have been like, ow! Did this change? Alright, it did. It did change to the normal thing. Cool. That's awesome. Perfect. Alright, close.
Kechi-kun, you don't look so good today. Do you have a cold?
I'm not sick. I just didn't get much sleep. If I space out and start talking nonsense, just humor me.
I wonder what kind of nonsense you'll say, I wonder. Now I'm looking forward to it. How?
I felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself back up this morning, and for precisely that reason, Rina's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes. Yo! What's up, K-chan? Rina? Good morning!
What? Mi-chan, you look like you didn't get much sleep either!
Mian had gone home early yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow. Yeah, I went to bed at like 3. I'm a little tired.
To 3? Hey now, you're a rock star. Ba-da-bum-ba. Hey now, you're an all-star. Da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, I'm done with that.
The 3? Hey now, you can't keep staying up late. You probably read the first volume of a manga, thought it was interesting, then read the entire series, didn't you? I understand, I've done that before.
Oh, that was Kechi? That was not Rina. Alright, I joked, trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mian nor Rina smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Rina's expression immediately darkened. What? Wait, is it about the mayor? He still hasn't been found. Nope. Hey, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You can't find the mayor? Even the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today.
Good morning, Kechi-san! Have you heard? It looks like something terrible has happened.
I don't really know this mayor person, but he's an old guy, right? Couldn't he be just wandering around, senile?
The mayor's certainly not senile. He's a sprightly man who can teach both calligraphy and swordsmanship.
He probably got lost somewhere like me.
I've lost Rika! Oh, I want to take you home with me.
Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moe in the slightest. I mean, if you like old people... Some people think they're cute. While my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. I mean, they can do cute things. I'm gonna be old. We're all gonna be old someday. I don't want to think about that. Everyone rushed to their seats. Good morning, everyone. Good morning! The class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy. Some of you may have already heard, but at last night, despite the late hour, the mayor never came home. Is there anyone here who saw the mayor yesterday? One or two hands went up in silence, and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst themselves. If anyone has seen the mayor, please tell an adult about it, all right? Now then, let's begin class. I don't know why I gave the teacher a seductive voice from her old voice. This is a new teacher. After that, the same old lessons began. Okay. Same old lessons. You got me, buddy. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the Shrine's Assembly Hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he would have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Is the mayor usually alone? Is he usually not alone? Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to wait for daylight, then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now, at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, and the more time passed, the only thing that came to mind was the curse. The rumors of Oni Kakushi of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? That scary possibility, which everybody thought about but nobody could say aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. He was demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger. The classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. This may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shion and I should have been a higher priority than him. The 4 of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot inside the sacred ritual storehouse. If Tomotaki-san and Takano-san had suffered mysterious deaths, then it would have been mine and Shion's turn next. This time should have been Shion and me. I laughed painfully to myself. I'd yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onigafuchi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe police divers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onigafuchi, but not once have they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish bottomless swamp from which no one who sinks can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom. Now that you mention it, Satoshi-san, he left around this time last year, didn't he? Huh? Satoshi? I've heard that name before. He was... right, he disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly. Didn't we search the whole village like this for Satoshi-san too? We didn't find him either. What did we decide that was? A demon in a way, right? Yeah, I heard he withdrew all his savings and ran away from home. Someone from the police said there was someone who saw him get on the bullet train at Nagoya Station. Ran away, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in this case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life, as if by design. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident, without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything.
It looks like I messed up the seasoning today. Sorry.
Normally, Rena would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a ton left. That wasn't because Rena's lunch didn't taste good or anything, though.
That isn't the case! Your lunch today is as delicious as always!
Excuse me. Satoko dips her chopsticks into Rena's bento box and pulls bits of food out, one after the other.
Yes, delicious indeed! Today in particular, in fact! Chomp chomp! You know those are pumpkin croquettes, right? Are you okay? Yes! If it's your pumpkin, then it's delicious!
Did Satoko dislike pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Satoko kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was. If it's that good, then I guess I've gotta have some too. Satoko's gonna eat it all if we let her.
It's just so good! So I would certainly like it if Kenji-san were to eat some as well!
Well, sometimes I have to show my adult generosity, right? Okay, don't hold back on my account. Eat enough for the both of us today. She really, really hated pumpkin, didn't she? That made it all the more touching to see Satoko's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Satoko, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling tears streaming down her face. No way. You'll never grow up if you give away such good food. Rena, you eat too. I only have leftover vegetable stew, but it tastes great after having sat overnight.
Yeah, the daikon radish has such a pretty color going through it. It looks delicious. I guess I'll have some then.
Rena reached out with her chopsticks, and at last, a usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desks, however. The dark tales of Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber effect. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oyashiro-sama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamazawa? The people building it were bad, so they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood, I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story of my head out of my head. Driving Oyashiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, that meant I would also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I could be the curse's next target. Remember, 2. 2, 2, 2. Ha! True. Sorry, I was looking at a meme. My friend sent a meme. Mion's taking a while, isn't she? How long does it take to wash your hands? Mion had said she was going to wash her hands and left, and she hadn't come back yet.
She's probably taking a little afternoon nap somewhere. I think she was pretty up late last night, looking for the mayor after all.
I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no good day. I had just transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably big one. Maybe I do need to appreciate that. When Mi-chan was really little, the mayor would always spoil her.
Oh, when Mi-chan was really little, the mayor would always spoil her. When she was going through her prankster phase, he loved her like his own daughter. She's told me that often.
I see. Mion was in shock too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew, then the shock must be 100 times worse. Satoko, as if she'd come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward.
Oh, Rika-chan is taking a while too. Maybe they're taking a nice afternoon nap together? Rika wasn't out that late. As soon as she yawned, everyone gathered around her and started saying good night and good night.
Now that you mention it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that? Is there a reason that old people treat Rika-chan like an idol? Is she their ideal image of a granddaughter or something?
I don't know anything about that, but I want to see Rika-chan yawning. It's probably all like, how? I want to take her home. I don't personally think that it's that cute. It's more of a gwa, and she opens her mouth really wide so you can see the back of her throat. Her throat! The thing in her throat, oh, wobbly! How?
Rina's handy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh right, I'm on day duty today, aren't I? I need to go water the flower garden. The garden is right outside the teacher's lounge too, so they can immediately tell if you don't do it right.
I think Satoko-chan is cute, not only Rika-chan. Can't breathe. How? I got a glimpse. It was so cute. Satoko-chan is so cute too. I'm gonna take you home.
Rina was squeezing her hands around Satoko's neck and was trying to get a look into her throat. You know, Rina is... I can't say it out loud, but she's a notorious, isn't she? Hearing Satoko make weird noise like a chicken being strangled was kind of hilarious and couldn't help but laugh. At some point, the classroom had erupted into laughter too. Maybe Rina was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a welcome sight. Anyway, let's get over to the flowers while I still had time. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroy the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. This building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so there was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation. But, well, the flower bed, it was a little longer than you'd expect. It went all around. It went all over the place. It was so big, one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done. I was doing this together with a kid who was also thankfully on day duty too, today. She was in the lowest grade though, and a full size smaller than even Rika-chan. I couldn't make a kid who struggled just to lift a full watering can help me with this. For this, if one was placed on duty with someone who one liked, they'd do it all for you, so it'd be cake. No point in blaming her. I give up. I'll just get started. Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me.
Sonny, there's a vegetable garden behind the warehouse, right? It's all just about dried up. Water that too, wouldn't you?
Oh, you mean that curry vegetable garden? The one with the potatoes and carrots and other things that are only ingredients for curry? It's definitely the personal garden for our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for its upkeep is getting them involved in her personal affairs. I couldn't say that to his face, though, so I gave up and decided to carry out my duties. The sunlight out front was strong. The great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. I passed by the classroom, and I don't know how it happened, but Rina and Satoko were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, the kids had arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring, while everyone was cheering them on. Yeah, that's how it should be. Once school ended, we would need to return to reality, where talk of the elders' disappearance would once again be all over the place. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and have fun, just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, Satoko's whirling elbow and Rina's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. Even if, as a result, they flipped over my desk. That's my pencil box! God, just let it happen today! I set to work hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more than to be done as soon as possible. That should be do it. No sooner had I thought than I remembered that I had to water the teacher's curry vegetable garden too. That's such a pain, but I have a feeling that it'll come back to bite me if I don't. I give up, filled the can with water again, and headed behind the warehouse. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here, and you couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pill bugs being around. So when I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised. Whoa! Oh, it's Rika-chan! Don't scare me like that! Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet, devoid of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my appearance. Rika-chan? Finally, she noticed me. Her expression was clearly abnormal. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair, too, and her clothes looked like as though she'd fallen to the ground. Rika-chan? Are you hurt? Did you fall?
No, that isn't it.
Rika-chan said in the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal, though. What happened? You weren't sleeping on the storehouse roof and then fell off or anything, did you?
Don't worry about me. I have something I want to ask you, Kichi.
Rika-chan walked over and clung to me. At first, I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized it was so that I wouldn't run from the question she was about to ask. I shuddered. What do you want from me? She looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bored right into me. It was as though they were trying to pull the answer out of my own eyes, without actually asking me the question. It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers.
Kechi,
did you do something bad on the night of the festival? My body gave a jolt from its very core. Rika-chan, who was clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up from my feet, and after going up my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into my brain.
Kechi, do you really not remember?
My head began to throb. I don't understand anything. Mion asked me. Oishi-san asked me. Shion asked me, and now Rika-chan was asking me? We thought nobody knew! About what we did last night, but in fact, everyone knew? They all knew, and they came to ask me. Again and again, until I admitted it. When I thought about it, it was pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. After all, don't Tomitaki-san's and Takano-san's deaths prove it?
Kechi?
How should I respond? We never should have entered the Forbidden Storehouse, and even though I regretted it so much, was she saying it wasn't enough? However, I had all but decided what I was going to say. I'm not exactly a good kid, you know? I've done lots of bad things, so I can't remember anything specific. Just as I had with all the others, I evaded the question. Rika-chan stared up at me with innocent eyes. Her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. After a few moments of mutual silence, Rika-chan released me.
I'm sorry for asking you something strange. Please forget about it,
she said, smiling her usual smile. Then tap, 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 she went running off, as if nothing had happened. As she retreated in silence, I could feel her accusing me. Rika-chan! If she didn't hear my voice, then I was going to give up. However, she heard it. Rika-chan swiveled around and waited for me to continue. I was the one who had the questions now. Still, asking any of them could just be a half-assed way of admitting what I did. Hey, Rika-chan.
What is it?
If everyone knows anyway, then I should be able to at least ask this, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night of the festival? That evening, had I done something that wrong? I felt plenty sorry about it, and I only looked anyway. I didn't break anything or steal anything. Really? Still, Tomitaki-san and Takano-san, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there's obviously no way it would forgive only me. Rika-chan cutely tilted her head in confusion and waited for me to say something. If I were to admit to what happened last night, though, she might suddenly do a 180 as if flipping a switch. That would make sense. Rika-chan was the Shrine Maiden. She was the least likely to forgive me for breaking the taboo, wasn't she? Upon reflection, wouldn't telling her be more terrifying than telling Mion or Oishi-san? Rika-chan could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it myself. Say it, Kechimabera. If you really are sorry, then you should say so. Of course, it's normal to hesitate, given the crazy way Tomitaki-san and Takano-san died. A pulping machine called Chaos was grinding up in my brain. The juice wrung out of it, turned into a bag of big droplets of sweat which began to fall. Ketchy. Rika-chan suddenly straightened up, trying to pat me on the head.
I don't really understand what you're worried about, Ketchy.
I had nothing to say to that. I lowered my head a little so that Rika-chan's palm could reach it. She petted me, kind of like one would a cat.
Do you know about the big storehouse a little way behind the shrine grounds? It stores the implements we use for rituals.
My breath literally stopped. Oh shit. Need a drink for this. Rika-chan, though, wasn't acting in a coercive way at all.
Apparently, on the night of the festival, a cat snuck into the storehouse.
A cat?
Yes, a cat. Meow meow.
Rika-chan knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so that she wouldn't scare me.
That cat always wanted to explore inside the storehouse, but I was mean to it and never let it go inside. So, on the night of the festival, the cat couldn't hold itself back any longer and went inside.
The cat? It was clearly supposed to be Takano-san. Or wait, was it supposed to be me?
Inside, there were actually lots of things that scared the cat.
Rika-chan made a cute gesture like a ghost was coming out to frighten me.
The cat was both terrified and amazed. It ran away as fast as it could. Clatter, clatter, shiver, shiver, meow, meow. It was terrible.
This cat, who are you saying it was?
The cat is a cat. Meow, meow.
Rika-chan still avoided saying it. The cat, though, was without a doubt me. Rika-chan, please tell me. The cat, what should it do now? Maybe it was a desperate question to ask. I had sort of admitted to being the cat.
The cat is just a cat, so it can just keep meowing and everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine? That's stupid.
Shouldn't it just keep meowing?
Geez, Rika-chan and I have put together an entire conversation using cat as a code word. I didn't say it directly, but I had already admitted it. I didn't want to end up like those two. I didn't want to be a sacrifice like Shion said. That's what I thought, so I stubbornly remained silent. But now, that's enough. It can't just keep meowing. The dog saw the cat making mischief and sneaking inside.
The dog?
That's right. It was the dog. It keeps coming to the cat and trying to get it to say that it's stuck inside. After I said that, Rika-chan's expression clouded over. She was trying to hide it, but I already noticed her eyes darkening. Rika-chan. The silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rika-chan grinned.
It's all right. I'll protect the cat.
Huh? I thought for a moment that I had misheard those words, so dependable they were.
The cat is really scared, but it really isn't all that bad. I think all of the dogs are just misunderstanding.
It's not all that bad.
The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure.
Rika-chan will do something about it? I don't even know left from right at the moment, so Rika-chan didn't look at all dependable.
It might be hard, but I'll do my best. Go for it, yay!
She clenched her fist and stuck it in the air. Rika-chan said that the cat can just keep meowing. She said it to leave it all to her? Is that really all it took to resolve this whole thing? Will you really be alright, Rika-chan?
If I don't do my best, then something bad could happen to the dogs, too.
I had no idea what Rika-chan was talking about anymore. She had been talking to me under the assumption that I was aware of certain things. So at first, I understood her. Around the middle, though, I stopped understanding anything. However, one thing I did know was to not worry and to leave it to her. Rika-chan straightened up once again, patted me on the head, and smiled. I was so moved by that reassuring feeling that I couldn't help but start to cry. I'm sorry. The cat, it really was just a little bit of mischief.
It didn't think any of this would.
It's too much of a scaredy cat. That's why it should never have seen the storehouse. She was right. It was far too shocking for someone to see based on a little bit of interest alone. That's why they made it so difficult to look at it in the first place, wasn't it? Rika-chan? What will happen to the cat? 2 of the cats that stuck in, well, that night I heard Tomotaki-san and Takano-san's deaths were being kept a secret. Rika-chan might not have known about it. Tomotaki and Takano? I gave a start at the sudden mention of actual names. Though it's weird to do that at this point. You should forget about them. My spine froze again. Forget? Yes. It won't do you any good to remember those 2, Kechi. The more you think about it, the scarier it will get. So you should forget about them as soon as possible. As she said something so enormously terrifying, without letting the smile on her face waver at all. I don't know where you heard about it from, but you should forget about everything. Oh, I don't know where you heard about it from, but you should forget everything. Make your mind as clean as a scrub bathtub. Forget? Rika-chan, you know, don't you? You know how those 2 died? No matter how they died, it has nothing to do with you, Kechi. Rika declared this in a flat voice. Nothing to do with me, so forget about it. The girl before me, she was innocent and lovable, and even seemed trustworthy. But suddenly she took on another dimension. Don't get involved with their deaths. I'll help you, Kechi. Those 2 contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me. What about Xian? What'll happen to her? It might have been dangerous to mention Xian's name, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Rika-chan saw through everything anyway. There was no way I was going to fool her to keep anything from her at this point. The younger of the sister cats? Meow meow. Yeah, the little sister cat. Rika-chan appeared to think upon this for a moment. It was hard for me to endure even this momentary silence. The big sister cat is angry. The little sister cat did something bad, so she's really mad. The big sister cat? That could only mean Mion. I recall being questioned by her yesterday. Kechi, the big sister cat is not in a good mood at all. I think we should leave her alone for a while. Not in a good mood. Those words sent a shiver through me. Mion was mad? She was mad that we entered the ritual storehouse. Let's stop having the club from now on. Let's stop having the club from now on. Huh? Why? I think we should leave her alone. Rika-chan ended her sentence with such force that I couldn't even say anything in response. Hey, Kechi Mabera, don't disobey Rika-chan right now. She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. I'll leave things to her, just as she said to. I mean, she even said that the cat should just keep meowing. I'll forget everything, like she said. I'll leave everything to her. I'll forget everything about Takano-san and Tomotaki-san and what I did that night. Just then we heard a bell, far away, marking the end of our lunch break. I guess we should go back to class. Kechi. As if she had noticed how miserable I was about to leave everything to her and flee the scene, Rika-chan called out to stop me. If the misunderstanding dog comes to try and bite the cat, please tell me, okay? The misunderstanding dog. She put it in such a cute-sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one. Who is the misunderstanding dog?
The dog that bit the mare. I don't know why it did that. If it was going to bite anyone, it would have been the trickster cat first.
The flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rika-chan had admitted it. The sacrifice of that terrible calamity. She admitted that if they were to happen again, it would be Xian or I. I didn't know what was true about the girl standing before me. My suspicion gave way to fear and nearly began to change into anger. Was she a survivor who would protect me? Or a stranger trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? I had no idea what was the truth. I'm sorry. The cat is already scared, And I said something to scare it even more. I'm really sorry. Rika-chan bowed so quickly it looked like her head was about to be pulled downward. Still, she was right. I was cowering. I could distinctly feel my body shaking violently. So when Rika-chan reached her hand out to pat me on the head, I pulled away without thinking. Rika-chan made a very sad face, but I just couldn't bring myself to put out my head for her again. No head pat for you. That day, Rika-chan said she wasn't feeling up for club activities that day, so she suggested we not bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Mina and the others seemed really disappointed. The big sister cat is not in a good mood. I remembered Rika-chan's words and quietly stole a glance at Mion's expression. If I could forget the way she questioned me yesterday, though, her behavior was the same as it always was. After dinner, without the energy to watch TV, I climbed into the futon in my bedroom and let my head be overtaken by gloomy thoughts. I told Rika-chan anything and everything. She had seemed trustworthy at the time, but had that really been the right choice? The more I looked back on it, the less I understood what Rika-chan was saying. Not only did she know about Takano-san and Tomitaki-san's deaths, but she spoke of them as if she were a concerned party. After all this time, in my futon, I began to tremble fiercely. Had I been lured in by Rika-chan's sweet smile and told her things I shouldn't have? I should have continued to feign ignorance. I shouldn't have shown her such a weak side of me. My emotions are a mix of regret and fear, and it colored the darkness of the night with an additional layer of terror. Suddenly, a knock! I might have yelped. That's how surprised I was.
Kenchi! I've been calling your name for a while! You have a phone call! It's from Sonozaki-san!
It was Dad. I reached out for the cordless phone through the gap in my door. Sonozaki-san, which one? The older sister or the younger? I don't know. Ask her yourself! I took the receiver and buried myself in the futon again. Hello? Mian? Or is it Shion?
It's me.
Shion? Good evening. I practically jumped out of bed. It was Shion, who I hoped so desperately would call me back last night. Shion, sorry about last night. I got all riled up. I heard what sounded like a deep sigh on the other end. You and me are in the same position, aren't we? I shouldn't have blamed you for everything like that. I'm sorry, so please cheer up. I called you because I'm in a better mood. If you're sorry, then I'll forgive you, so please stop apologizing. Shion's tone still sounded a little angry, but for the moment, she said she'd forgive me. You're right, too. We're tied to the same fate. Making sure the other is all right is the only way to guarantee your own safety. Yeah, I agree. We absolutely need to share whatever information we have, so that we don't die, like Takano-san and Tomitaki-san did. Well, I forced myself to swallow a solid drop of saliva. Then, let's continue from where we left off. You'll listen without getting angry this time, right? Yeah, I'll be fine. Firstly, steam sneaking into the ritual storehouse was more of a taboo than we thought. Takano-san and Tomitaki-san's miserable ends, terrible enough that you could call them a warning, they were more than enough to make me believe that. The culprits was killed with those two, the ones responsible for sullying the storehouse, and they'll come for us next. I know you want to deny that, but please accept it. It'll be too late to believe me after you've disappeared, okay? I got it. You can never be too careful, after all. I don't want to accept it either. To think that sneaking a peek at the museum of torture devices deserves a death like this, I don't want to believe it. That's what a taboo is. For those who honor it, if one breaks the taboo, no matter how small or innocent their intentions were, they wouldn't be forgiven. Let's report anything we notice that seems strange. If we connect all the tiny pieces that we have, then just maybe we'll find out who killed them, or maybe even the truth behind the incidents of the previous years. We could find the key that'll resolve everything. You're right. You're right about that. All I was doing was waiting in fear, but Xian had already thought that fear that far ahead. Given how untrustworthy she felt, I became embarrassed over how passive I was being. Then I'll start, since I suggested it. I feel like somebody has been watching me lately. What? It might be my imagination, but I'll tell you anyway. I think it's just me, but I feel like you're being watched too, Kei-chan, then. Maybe it's not just my imagination. Well, don't worry. At the very least, everything's been doing fine for me. I think. As I spoke with Xian, I thought back on today. I had no grounds to say that everything was fine. My eyes are getting sleepy. Stop that. Stop it. I had to rub my eyes. I'm a sleepy alien. I see. Then I suppose it was my imagination. But you be careful too, Kei-chan. Be especially careful when you're by yourself in public. I'm in Okinomiya, so I won't be alone very often, but you live in Hinamizawa. There will be a lot of times you'll be alone. Please be extra careful. You're right. Yeah, I'll be careful. Also, about my big sister, she has been acting strange lately. Your sister? Oh, Mian, right? What do you mean by acting strange? Well, yesterday she came to me and asked me where I was on the night of the Wananagashi. What? That she asked me too. The day before yesterday, I think Mian asked me. I see. I told her I wasn't there. What did you say? I did the same thing. I just dodged the question. Both of us gave a quiet sign of relief. Ever since the night of the festival, my sister has been acting strangely. We can't be too careful, so just be aware, okay? Mian was acting strangely. Aside from her asking me about the night of the Wanagashi, she hadn't seemed too out of the ordinary, at least from my point of view. Her twin sister, though, she was saying she was acting weird. Maybe it was such a slight change from a change that a stranger like me wouldn't be able to notice. Got it. I'll start being more careful. I'll always have Rina with me on my way back home from school, so I shouldn't end up alone with Mian very often. Please be careful. If there's anything that's bothering you, you can tell me. You don't want to pay. Okay, then is there anything you want to tell me, Kei-chan? My turn. That's right, maybe I should report on Oishi-san asking me the same question at the library. Oh, that time when you were too slow to escape? Yeah, Oishi-san asked me pretty forcefully whether I was with Takano and Tamataki-san that night, and whether I had seen you, Takano-san. Ah, return. No. Oishi-san seemed to have seen the four of us together. From the police's point of view, that would make us the last people who had seen them. I suppose, given us the last people who had seen them, I suppose, given that, it's only natural that they'd be intersected in all of us. I evaded the questions then too, but that might have just made them more interested. There was no way I could have tricked that sly old man, Oishi-san. My troubled countenance would have only made him even more certain. What? Hey, Xian, since they're the police, shouldn't we just tell them? I mean, considering our situation, I think having them... Stop it. Brain, stop falling asleep. I mean, considering our situation, I think having them on our side would be a good thing. Xian didn't answer right away. For a few moments, all I could hear was her breathing as she thought about it. Now that I think of it, Oishi-san said there was something possibly shady about Mion. At least I think that's what he said. Yeah. He definitely did. As I explained yesterday, the Sonozaki family holds a lot of influence over Hinamizawa. Oishi is under the impression that the whole village, with the Sonozaki family at the center of it all, is responsible for the current freak deaths. The whole village is behind them, with the Sonozaki family at the corner? Please don't get angry like you did yesterday, and please just listen. I hammered that home before I got too upset. During the Hinamizawa Dam Wars, the priest who everyone was anticipating to lead the anti-dam movement acted as though he were unrelated to the Snoo. My sister told you about all the battles that happened, right? Yeah, all of Hinamizawa got together and fought as one. They held protests, brought it to court, and even appeared on TV. In reality, there were many things that happened that were far more extreme. Under the surface, the Sonozaki main house was doing all sorts of illegal things to oppose it. They were acting illegally? I don't want to stop in the middle. But I'm like falling asleep. For example, they would sneak into the construction site in the middle of the night and steal equipment, or break it, or put sugar cubes in the gasoline tanks of the construction vehicles. Sugar in their gasoline tanks? Why would they? You don't know? It's practically their representative guerrilla tactic. It was used by underground organizations in France in World War II. For one, when you put sugar in, the engine gets burned out and breaks down. That's pretty bad though, isn't it? It was destruction of property and nothing less. When they beefed up the guard at the construction facility, the family turned to attacking important construction personnel who worked there. The government officials who had given permission for the construction, for example, received all of the threats. Not just people from the prefectural office, either. Apparently this reached as far as the Ministry of Construction. As far as I've heard, they even kidnapped a child once. Kidnapped? Yes. The child of an important person in the Ministry of Construction who was in charge of the Hinamizawa Dam got spirited away. Then, one day, all of a sudden, he was rescued in the Takotsudo Mountains, which are upstream from Hinamizawa. Apparently there were never any criminal accusations, but people whispered that it had been a threat to stop the dam construction from happening. Besides that, there were stories about so many different threats that I could possibly list them all. Wow, that's sort of bad, isn't it? Right in the middle of the whole thing, the first incident happened. That's when the dismemberment of the construction manager occurred. People whispered that the Sonozaki family had bought out the principal offender, but of course he fled and they still haven't found him. When she put it that way, the Sonozaki family definitely seems suspicious. Oishi-san even seems to think that the criminal was erased so he wouldn't talk, which is pretty reasonable of him. It's even enough to make me think that the Sonozaki main house is doing some really shady things behind the scenes, even though I'm related to them. Oishi-san even seems to think that the criminal was erased so he wouldn't talk, which is pretty reasonable of him. It's even though to make me think that the Sonozaki main house is doing some really shady things behind the scenes, even though I'm related to them. Are you telling me to believe that? That the Sonozaki main house where Mion lives has done all those bad things? You're telling me to believe it? Even if you don't, Kei-chan, the villagers do. While they oppose the dam in upright and lawful ways, the Sonozaki house did the dirty work for them. Everyone believes that they fought at the front, so they take the brunt of the criticism. So they're respected as sort of heroes of darkness. I think I only really know one part of it. For example, the really bad stuff like the kidnapping, I think only a handful of people even know about it, including Grandma. So Sonozaki family is secretive after all. Secretive, huh? A family so unforthcoming that even Shion, who is related to them, doesn't even know everything about them. The Sonozaki family, unlike Shion with her older twin, Mian was deeply involved with everything, and that was not a fun thought to entertain. My sister, though young, was the one who acted as the center of the legal resistance movement. Mian was? What do you mean? Well, our dad is a big-shot Yakuza. Even when she was little, my sister managed to subjugate a bunch of young street rats. Then she played all sorts of tricks on them and just generally got in their way. Mian did that? Now she's pretty laid back, so it might be hard to imagine. They put her in charge of everything from personality pages? No. Property damage to threats and even acts of violence. Though since she was a kid, they could get her released pretty easily. She learned that her age could be used as a weapon. It may have been indiscreet, but I couldn't help but chuckle dryly. She may have been young, but she was certainly still young. Even back then, she had already been known for her craftiness. It's nothing to laugh about. Please, take this seriously. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Shion got gotten pretty angry at me. Well, her delinquency soon got her into a position of authority in the Sonozaki main house. It's not unthinkable that Uchi suspects them for the dismemberment incident and the later ones, too. For a few moments, I was dumbstruck at the tales of Mian's past. None of them matched the image I had for her. A younger Mian dirtying her hands with all sorts of crimes, giving the damn construction project hell. As the successor of the Sonozaki main family, she was always right at the center of the vortex of strange incidents occurring year after year. Was that really the Mian I know? Maybe the one I know isn't the real Mian. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't bring myself to accept these images of Mian I was hearing from another person. Well, back to the main subject, I just wanted you to know that my sister is someone worth being cautious around. Please, be careful. I didn't want to understand. Mian was a fantastic friend. She would never do something to back me into a corner like that. She did ask me pretty harshly about the night of the festival, but even that, it wasn't like she'd said it in a mean way or anything. Alright, I'll make sure to be careful. We're sisters related by blood, but within the Sonozaki family, we're basically of a different class. I want you to recognize how distant they are from me. Please. The more Shion tells me about Mian, the less I understand who Mian is. The Mian I know wasn't a dangerous person. She joked around, smiled a lot, and was full of passion. Now that I realize I held such a view towards her, Shion was telling me to change it. To be careful around the best friend ever? To doubt her. The idea was very sad and painful. Now, about Oishi. If you think it's a good idea, then I think we should give him the information he needs. I think getting the police on our side will work in our favor. You thought so too, Shion? It's just, at the moment, I explained, the police have their eyes on the Sonozaki family before. Oishi in particular completely believes that they're the main masterminds behind the serial incidents. That includes me, of course. So I don't really want to do much to do with this Oishi. I see. If Oishi-san had found out about the Sonozaki family's strife-filled history, then he probably wouldn't be very happy with Shion either. At last, I understood Mian's instinctive dislike for Oishi-san. It's probably out of the open at this point, but try not to give my name to him. If you agree to that, then I don't think there's a problem with you telling him anything. I got it. I won't mention your name. The police investigative ability should be quite a reliable weapon for us right now. If Oishi tells you anything interesting, then let me know as well. Yeah, of course. We'll share information and investigate together. Who killed Takado-san and Tamaki-san? Who was after us? Until we know, we need to defend ourselves. Anything else? Besides what Oishi told you, I mean? If anything has happened, no matter how minor, please tell me. Aside from my discussion with Oishi-san. Oh. Should I tell her that I revealed everything to Rika-chan? Rika-chan was acting like she knew something I didn't. She told me to leave it to her, but what? Ah, that's right. When I was talking to her, I mentioned Xian's name too. Was that a mistake? Felt like Xian would get angry. Nothing else? Kei-chan. I had remained quiet for a little while, so Xian encouraged me to speak, unable to bear the silence. As I struggled with what to say, Xian addressed me instead. It doesn't sound like it, so can I ask you something else? Is it... I just heard this myself. Is it true that old man Kimiyoshi went missing? The old man Kimiyoshi? My gut told me that was the name of the mayor. You mean the mayor? Wait, Xian, you haven't heard? I don't know anything. I just overheard my dad talking about it on the phone again. I realized I shouldn't have said that. Here in Himazawa, the things that happened around this time, when Oyashiro-sama's curse would occur, would be all covered up. Yeah, actually, last night, after a meeting, he didn't come home, so all of Himazawa was confused. They searched all through the village, but if they found him, then I haven't heard. The police should be searching for him as well. Why didn't you tell me that something important right away? She shouted angrily at me, bringing all her emotion to bear. So sorry, I thought you already knew. I didn't want to hide it or anything. The receiver was silent. Did Xian get mad again and hang up? Hey, Xian, hello? Kei-chan. What should I do? Xian's tiny, confused voice sounded like it belonged to a different person than the one yelling a few seconds ago. What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right? Xian hesitated for a long while, but then she confessed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hide it. It was just that. Well, the conversation got turned around and we're on the same side, right? I won't get mad, so tell me honestly. Xian still hesitated for a few moments. Then, in a resigned voice, she continued. Old man Kimiyoshi, I told him everything. Xian seemed to think I would yell at her right after she said that, so I heard her catching her breath. Contrary to what she thought, I was a little relieved. Xian had done the same thing I had when I confessed everything to Rika-chan. So, in as gentle a voice as I could, as to not set her off, I responded. Old man Kimiyoshi, he's one someone you feel comfortable confiding in, Xian? Yes. He would. When I was little, he was really nice to me. Xian felt the same pain as the rest of us from the mayor's disappearance. She had a different kind of strength from Mian, and as she continued, her voice sounded truly sad and pained. All I did was play tricks on him, but he would always just smile. He listened to anything I had to say. He was such a kind person. Calm down, Xian. It's not like he's dead, right? Don't lose heart so easily. Xian didn't answer. Even as I said it myself, I didn't think we'd ever find the missing mayor again. We probably wouldn't even figure out if he was alive or dead. Xian must have been thinking the same thing. That night, I told the mayor that we snuck into the ritual storehouse. Also that someone saw us and was out to get us. Does the mayor know how absurdly Takano-san and Tamaki-san died? Yes. He knew about it. I told him that they died by Oyashiro-sama's curse, and that I could be made a sacrifice to calm his anger. I just said it straight out. Right. What then? Old man Kimiyoshi didn't get angry. He smiled, then told me if I was properly sorry about it, there was no way I'd be demoned away. He really was smiling, and he told me to leave it to him. Until Xian stopped sobbing, I was unable to find any words for her. I couldn't imagine what kind of person the mayor was, nor what Xian's relationship with him was like. Words of comfort, however, mean so much to us when we're about to be crushed by anxiety. Today, Rika-chan taught me that too. If someone who gave me such a sense of security were to disappear, then I could guess what kind of shock Xian was in. It's my fault, because I revealed everything. Stop it, Xian. It's not your fault. No! It is my fault! I told him everything! Old man Kimiyoshi found out about everything! So, he has to have been killed! It was right after I told him, after all! He disappeared the same night that I confessed, and he told me everything was going to be alright! He found out. So he became involved. I never should have told him. All of this should have just been our fault, only for 4 of us. It wasn't something I should have told someone else. He got killed because I told him. He got killed because he knew. He got killed because I revealed it. Hey, stop. If they were doing that, then they would obviously have killed you before killing the mayor. The order is all wrong. You or I should have been killed first. Why the hell would someone else get killed first? No, it's in order. They must be planning to kill us last after all. Huh? What? They're not killing the first people who come to mind. They start by killing those we're close to. And then after they've caused us so much pain, they kill us. That must have been what they're doing. I said calm down. Shion, you're in shock. You're panicking. The mayor's disappearance has nothing to do with you. It's unconnected. It's not related to Takano and Tamataki-san dying at all, either. My words came out as a scream, as if I were shouting at them at myself. No! It is connected! It just has to be! I told him, so he was killed! He got killed because I knew! I confessed it to him, so he got killed! Excuse me. Do I need to go to the bathroom? I might need to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry. She repeated the same thing as before, as though she were in a delirium. Despite my trying to console the crazed Shion, for some reason the shadow at my feet began to freeze. From the shadow, a cold arm reached out, so cold it seemed like it would freeze even my heart just by touching me, and grabbed my ankle. The heat generated by my body, the arm was absorbing it. It was a horrible chill. A freezing cold, numbingly frigid. It was a viable chill of fear. Though I sympathized with Shion, I had been naive in thinking it was something only she had to worry about. In my head, Shion's eerie words repeated again and again. He was killed because I told him. He was killed because he found out. I confessed everything. So he was killed. Those words echoed through my head like a monotone mantra, and finally those even repetitions took on meaning. The quiet shaking that had already been overtaken me turned into a violent shiver that shot up my spine. Rika-chan! It's Rika-chan! What? What did you say just now? Well, the truth is, I told her about it. I told Rika-chan. Today! Rika-chan, you mean Rika-chama? The one from the Furude Shrine? Yes, Rika-chan! I felt so scared and uneasy that I did it. I told Rika-chan. When you did, what did she say? The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. That's what Rika-chan said, and then she smiled. She smiled, just like the missing mayor had when he encouraged Shion. I'm sorry, Shion. I'm worried about Rika-chan. Right. If you're that concerned, then don't worry about me. Please, go find out whether she's safe. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll call you again tomorrow at the same time. When I do, you'll know I'm still alright. I got it. I'll be waiting. Okay, bye. Sorry. I'm hanging up. I put down the receiver without waiting for Shion to say goodbye. The danger to Shion and myself was secondary at this point. My sixth sense was blaring alarms in my head. I don't like this feeling. It's really bad. It's definitely bad. Damn it, please be safe. Rika-chan. What's gonna happen? Rika-chan, oh no! New tips! Alright, save time. We're on chapter... Okay, we're gonna be on chapter 10. Coolies. Nice. Thank you everyone for joining me. I appreciate it a lot. And if you enjoyed, please leave a follow. And thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed the tale so far. I'm sorry that I was falling asleep at the end. I did my best to stay awake. I did my very best. Thank you everyone for joining. I appreciate it a lot. But I gotta go. I have to shovel snow off the porch. Okay, thank you everyone. And I hope everyone has a nice rest of their day, evening, morning, night, whatever time of day it is. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming to the UFO.